Those of you members making your ways to the front row to exchange in pleasantries with the representative of the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, as well as the Speaker, should please hold on to your exchange of pleasantries for now until such a time when we perhaps go for tea break. Can we please stop moving around? And those of you seated at the rear, please pave way for the honorable members to be comfortably seated. The only group of persons I want to recognize very quickly before we go on with the program will be the principal officers of the House of Representatives, led by Honorable Professor Julius Ihonvere, OON, the leader of the House. We welcome you, sir. We also recognize you, the presence of the minority leader, Honorable Kingsley Chinda. We welcome you, sir. We recognize the presence of Honorable Bello Kumo, Chief Whip of the House of Representatives. We welcome you. As we recognize Honorable Halims Abdullahi, Deputy House Leader. We welcome you. Honorable Adewumi Onanuga is Deputy Chief Whip. We welcome you. Honorable Ali Isa is Minority Whip. We welcome you. Honorable Ali Umadaki is Deputy Minority Leader. We welcome you, as well as Honorable George Ozodinobi, Deputy Minority Whip. We welcome all of you. Can we give all of our distinguished honorable members thus far recognized a resounding applause? Can we have that applause for them, please? It is on these notes that we want to move on with the program of events. I would like that we have some absolute quiet in the hall. Please kindly bear with us. We need your attention. But I see the Secretary to Government of the Federation being led back to his seat. May I also crave an indulgence, those of you leading him back to his seat, can we reduce the number? Maybe just his aide. As soon as he's seated, may the aides please move to the other side of the hall so we can have a hitch-free event. I thank you very much and we appreciate you. It is on that note that we establish the protocol at this point. His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, President Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria, ably represented here by His Excellency, the Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, CFR, former Speaker of the House of Representatives and Chief of Staff to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Your Excellency, the convener of this program, of this two-day retreat, the Right Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, PhD, Ian Zelzo, Speaker of the People's House, the House of Representatives, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Your Excellency, the Right Honorable Benjamin Okezie Kalu, Enyabia, Deputy Speaker, People's House, House of Representatives, the leader of the House of Representatives, and other principal officers of the House of Representatives here present, former presiding officers, Your Excellencies, the former Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Patricia Olubumiete, CFR, Right Honorable Abidu Melu Masari, Your Excellency, former Governor of Katsina State and former Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Yakubu Dogara, CFR, former Speaker, House of Representatives, the former Deputy Speaker of the House, Right Honorable Babangida Nguroje. The leadership of the House of Representatives, led by Honorable Professor Julius Ihonvere, OON, and other principal officers of the House of Representatives. Your Excellency, Chief Barrister Ezenwoye Samwike, CON, DSSRS, Minister of the FCT, and former Governor of Rivers State, ably represented at this occasion by the Honorable Minister of State, Federal Capital Territory, Dr. Maria Mahmood. The Governor of Central Bank, Mr. Yemi Cardoso, represented here by the Deputy Governor of CBN in charge of economic policy, Dr. Sani Mahmoud Abdullahi. The Chairman, Federal Inland Revenue Service, Mr. Zach Adedeji, FCA, PhD, ably represented here by ML Abubakar, Coordinating Director, Support Services Group of the Federal Inland Revenue Service. The Chairman, National Assembly Service Commission, Engineer Ahmed Kadi Amshi. The Clerk to the National Assembly, Alhaji Sani Magaji Tambawal. The Director General, I beg your pardon, he is not physically present. The Clerk House of Representatives, Dr. Yahya Nzaria. The Resident Representative, Conrad Adnoa Stifton, Mareja Paran, ably represented by the Deputy Representative of Adnoa Stifton to Nigeria, our sponsors, Mr. Lucas Liable. Your Excellencies, esteemed members of the diplomatic community here present, captains of industry, especially in the oil and gas industry, the Executive Secretary, National Assembly Library Trust Fund, Honorable Henry Nwauba, heads of international organizations and civil society organizations present, our distinguished resource persons, Chief of Staff to the Speaker, Professor Jake N. Azumi, the Deputy Chief of Staff to the Speaker, Honorable Dunko Nnamdi Chamberlain, Honorable Toby Okechukwu, Chief of Staff to Deputy Speaker, members of the press, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. Let me, on behalf of the Speaker of the House of Representatives, the convener of this event, welcome all of you to this great event, the two-day retreat for members of the House of Representatives with the theme, Navigating Change, Strategies for Economic Transformation. Your Excellencies, distinguished and esteemed gentlemen and ladies, your roles as legislators in reforming the oil and gas sector, as well as implementing the Petroleum Industry Act, cannot be overemphasized, bearing in mind your oversight responsibilities. This retreat is therefore, to say the least, consistent with the legislative agenda of the 10th House of Representatives and the development agenda of President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, GCFR. This retreat is proof of commitment on the part of the House of Representatives, the People's House, to the ongoing reform efforts to not only modernize our tax system, but also to diversify our economy, thereby helping to reduce our reliance on oil revenue, tax policies, and ensure that the laws are fair, equitable, and conducive for economic growth. The objectives, as outlined for this retreat, are well articulated. Understand the Petroleum Industry Act, legislative oversight and implementation, stakeholders' engagement and collaboration, policy and regulatory framework, foster collaboration and promote accountability and transparency. But the question begging for answer right now is, what are the strategies to be put in place for economic growth by the People's House, the House of Representatives? This retreat will provide us with the desired answers as we move on with this two-day retreat. Let me therefore most profoundly welcome you all to this two-day retreat with the theme, Navigating Change, Legislative Strategies for Economic Growth. I'd like to salute and call on all of you to please give a very deserving round of applause to the convener of this retreat, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, for this very wonderful giant stride taken by this retreat. Can we give him a resounding applause, please? It is then my honor and privilege to invite at this point in time to take the podium and to deliver his welcome remarks. I'd like to invite a very detribalized Nigerian, a pan-Nigerian to the core. Please join me in welcoming His Excellency, the Right Honorable Benjamin Okezie Kalu, Enyabia, Deputy Speaker, House of Representatives, for his welcome remarks. Can we have that round of applause for him? Make it as loud as can be for your own, please. The Deputy Speaker, sir.
Mr. President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, our very own Ahmed Bola Tinubu, GCFR, ably represented by our very own Chief of Staff to the President, Right Honorable, His Excellency, Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, who is not just the Chief of Staff to the President, but mentored a lot of us in this House, myself inclusive. Your Excellency, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, my boss and my big brother, in whom I'm well pleased, the leader of the House and other principal officers here present, our past presiding officers, please permit me to stand on the well-established protocol for want of time. I'm sure when my boss, the Speaker, comes, he might like to revisit the protocol. But for now, permit me to stand on the existing protocol. It is my honor to welcome you all to this critical two-day retreat on economic transformation and development towards effective implementation of the Petroleum Industry Reform Act 2021 and Tax Reform Modernization, with the theme Navigating Change, Legislative Strategies for Economic Transformation. It reflects the legislature's strategic role in guiding our nation's economic growth and enabling sustainable development. The Petroleum Industry Act 2021 represents a significant milestone in Nigeria's journey to reform its oil and gas sector. It has the potential to unlock vast economic opportunities and guide Nigeria towards a more prosperous and sustainable future. However, as we all know, the real challenge lies in its effective implementation. This retreat provides a critical platform to strategize on how the House of Representatives can ensure the successful execution of this landmark legislation. Lawmaking is dynamic, and the PIA should be seen as a foundation to build upon. It is important to use this retreat to consider avenues to improve the legislation further, to ensure it incentivizes more foreign direct investment, that is FDI, in Nigeria's oil and gas sector. By enabling a spirit of continuous improvement, the House can ensure that the PIA achieves its ambitious goals. The journey that led us to the Petroleum Industry Act, PIA, has been a long one. The initiative to reform the oil and gas sector began in earnest under the Obasanjo's administration in April 2000. Since then, it traversed both the Yar'Adua and Goodluck Jonathan's administration before it was bravely, and I repeat, bravely passed by the 9th National Assembly under the Muhammadu Buhari's administration. As lawmakers, laws do have their peculiar challenges. No piece of legislation is perfect. The retreat serves as an important opportunity to address some of these potential defects by gathering feedbacks on the implementation of the PIA. Through open discussion and collaboration, we can identify areas for improvement and ensure the art achieves its intended goals for Nigeria's oil and gas sector. In addition, I urge us to seize this timely opportunity with the PIA to unlock the vast economic potentials of our oil and gas sector, while acknowledging the global transition towards clean energy. Major automobile manufacturers like China, the United States, and Japan are phasing out diesel and petrol vehicles by year 2035, with Germany aiming for zero-emission vehicles by 2030. This retreat can be a springboard to explore how the PIA can be leveraged to not only maximize our oil and gas resources in the short to medium term, but also strategically position Nigeria for a future that is fueled by cleaner alternatives. On the other hand, tax reform is another critical aspect of our team, navigating change through current tax system. Nigeria's current tax system suffers from inefficiencies leading to some of the lowest tax collection rates in the world. We're talking about 10.8% of GDP, according to data from the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, and the National Bureau of Statistics, NBS. These inefficiencies hinder our ability to invest in essential public services and infrastructure. The role of the National Assembly, particularly the House of Representatives, is crucial in enacting reforms that broaden the tax base, simplify the tax code, and enhance compliance mechanism without placing undue burden on Nigerians. What is the expected outcome of these retreats? The role of the National Assembly, particularly the House of Representatives, in this process cannot be overstated. We are the custodians of the people's will, entrusted with the responsibility of ensuring that the lofty ideals enshrined in the PIA are translated into tangible benefits for all Nigerians. This retreat serves as a critical forum for us to collectively strategize on how to fulfill this vital mandate. This retreat is designed to be a springboard for action. By its conclusion, we aim to achieve a multi-pronged outcome. We will emerge with a deeper understanding of the Petroleum Industry Act and its impact on the oil and gas sector and our national development goals. We will collaboratively develop a clear roadmap of the House role in implementing and overseeing the PIA. This is consistent with the legislative agenda of the 10th House of Representatives and the renewed hope agenda of the President, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR. This roadmap will emphasize building strong partnership between the legislature, the executive, regulatory agencies, industry, stakeholders, and civil society organizations. We will identify areas for potential policy adjustment, capacity building initiatives, and the development of robust regulatory framework to support a successful PIA implementation. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, my distinguished colleagues, the path towards economic transformation and more prosperous Nigeria will have its challenges. However, through collaboration, dedication, and strategic legislative action, we can overcome these hurdles and unlock the full potential of our nation. I encourage you to actively participate in the discussion, share your expertise, and contribute your ideas. Together, let us chart a course for a more vibrant, diversified, and equitable Nigerian economy that benefits all citizens and secures a brighter future for our future generation. I extend my heartfelt thanks to the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited, the Federal Inland Revenue Service, and the Conrad Stephen for their invaluable support in making this retreat possible. Their contributions are a testament to the power of collaboration in driving positive change. Thank you very much, and let the conversation begin. Thank you for listening. God bless you, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
A round of applause once more for my own big uncle, Right Honorable Benjamin Okezie Kalu, the Deputy Speaker, House of Representatives. A round of applause for him again.
I have the mandate of the Abuja Continental Hotel to please read out, as part of their policy, safety and security information for all our guests attending this function. A brief welcome to all of you from Abuja Continental Hotel. The ladies and gentlemen's what I would prefer to call, in their writing is completely different, but what I would prefer to call convenience are located just outside this auditorium. As soon as you come out to your immediate point, where I'm standing is the immediate right. So the moment you come out of this auditorium, make a right turn, and there are people there who would lead you to where the conveniences are. Today is not scheduled for any fire drill. Therefore, in case there is a fire alarm that lasts beyond 2 to 3 minutes, then it is an evacuation alarm. Do not panic. Do not attempt to tackle the fire yourself, hard small. The other aspect that is expected of you is to inform a staff of the hotel who is nearby. In the event that evacuation becomes very necessary, it is important that you are aware of the following procedures. First, remain calm. Your head waiter or a member of the Abuja Continental Hotel Management and the associate will be able to direct you to the most convenient exit. You must also leave immediately in a very calm and orderly manner, and that their fire exits are clearly marked throughout the conference hall. Do not stop to collect your baggage or any personal belonging. Do not shout, do not run, do not push each other. Follow the official voice instructions. Assemble at the fire muster point by the left-hand side of the conference hall or the tennis court. Do not re-enter the building for any reason. The duty manager will inform you once the building has been cleared safe enough for your re-entrance. You will be told by a member of the hotel management to evacuate to a safe area in case of any eventuality. Personal belongings and other properties. Do not leave your personal belongings or other properties unattended for security reasons. For instance, going to make a speech, convenience, tea break, lunch, dinner, and whatever reason that make you want to leave your seat. Please be observant. The hotel is not liable for any loss, damage, or theft of unattended property. Thank you, management of Abuja Continental Hotel. Mariah.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much again, the Deputy Speaker, House of Representatives, for that insightful welcome remarks. According to John Maxwell, a leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and also shows the way. Your Excellencies, distinguished honorable members of the House of Representatives, please permit me as we now take the goodwill messages. And first on my list is Mr. Lucas Lively, representing Marija Peran, the resident representatives of Conrad Adna Stiftung. Lucas Lively is also the deputy resident representative to Nigeria. If your hands are not too busy, please put them together for Lucas Lively as he comes off stage. A round of applause for him as he comes off stage.
Your Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, today represented by his Chief of Staff, Your Excellency, former Speaker of the House, Femi Gbajabiamila, Your Excellency, Right Honorable Speaker of the House, Abbas Tajuddin, PhD, Your Excellency, the Deputy Speaker of the House, Benjamin Kalu. Permit me to stand on the existing protocol. Let me first and foremost commend you for this initiative on navigating change, legislative strategies for economic transformation. This 2 days retreat for members of the House of Representatives comes at the right time. The 10th House of Representatives started strong last year, leading to the legislative agenda of the House of Reps, the People's House. This retreat today and tomorrow is one next major step in bringing this legislative agenda to life. CAS, the Konrad Adenauer Stiftung, is more than happy to collaborate with the Speaker of the House in his efforts on economic transformation and development. Now is the time to shape the economy of Nigeria and how it will develop in the next years. Nigeria is at crossroads. Nigeria's potentials are outstanding, almost like in no other country around the globe. Potentials that needs to be lifted for the best of all Nigerians. With a stronger economy, Nigerians will have a higher income, and a higher income will lead to less poverty and a stronger private consumer. What, in regard, again, lead to a stronger economy and even more income. This circle will move Nigeria into a bright future, a future Nigeria and Nigerians deserve. What the Speaker of the House is doing with this retreat is nothing less than starting this circle. It takes huge efforts to make sure that frameworks are set to support this growth. So once again, from CAS, we commend you for these efforts. Together with the Office of the Speaker and with the National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies, whom CAS is also strongly partnering with, we will continue to support those forces in Nigeria who want to move this country into the right direction. This retreat will be one of the needed steps towards a brighter future. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lucas Lively, representing CAS. A round of applause for him again. I also like to call...
Just before you go ahead, I'd like to please plead with all honorable members that are at this point in time moving and having conversations, and our guests that are standing, please would like that we maintain some quiet in the hall, please. This is a national event by every standard and deserves to be given and accorded that kind of accolade. Please, ladies and gentlemen, kindly bear with us. Please, can we speak in tones such that we do not disrupt what is going on here? If you intend to go out, you may wish to just do that quietly, please. We're not unaware that it's praying time, but please, you can do that without having to disrupt what we're doing here. Thank you so very much for your kind attention. But let me quickly plead one more time that we please maintain some quiet. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Andy. May I respectfully invite another gentleman, one who has shown exemplary leadership. If your hands are not too busy, please join me as I respectfully invite Alhaji Sani Magaji Tambuwal, the clerk to the National Assembly, for his goodwill message. A round of applause for him, please.
President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR ably represented by the former Speaker and the current Chief of Staff to the President, Right Honorable Femi Akin-Gbajabiamila, CFR. The Speaker, House of Representatives, Right Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, the Deputy Speaker, Right Honorable Benjamin Kalu, the leadership of the House of Representatives, the former Speakers and Deputy Speakers of the House of Representatives, the Honorable Members, Chairman, National Assembly Service Commission, FCT Minister, please on this note permit me to stand on the existing protocol. It is my delight to be part of this higher-powered retreat organized by the People's House of Representatives. Let me begin by appreciating the organizers of this retreat for the choice of the topic and its potential contribution to the deepening and understanding of the effectiveness of Parliament in driving economic transformation and tax reforms. The legislature plays a great role in determining the economic trajectory of any country. Though its lawmaking and oversight powers, the National Assembly directly or indirectly shapes Nigeria's economic climate. Tax reforms and revenue enhancement through digital transformation have been critical areas of focus for Nigeria in recent years. It is against this backdrop the 10th House of Representatives identified economic growth and development at its fourth legislative agenda and made a commitment to enacting laws that will foster long-term economic growth in Nigeria. Nigeria has undertaken tax reform to broaden the tax base, simplify tax codes, and improve compliance. These reforms aim to reduce dependence on oil revenue and increase non-oil revenues. An essential part of this tax reform has been the adoption of digital technologies in tax administration. Digital transformation efforts include in the introduction of electronic filing and payment systems, which make it easier for individuals and businesses to comply with tax regulation and enable governments to track payments and reduce leakages. Nigeria has also passed or revised various legislations to facilitate tax reforms and digital transformation, adapting its legal framework to modern requirements and international standards. As a legislature, you have a crucial role to play in the process of tax reforms, revenue enhancement, and digital transformation. This you can achieve through drafting, approving tax reforms and digital transformation laws, alongside legislative oversight and implementation of tax laws. As a bureaucracy, we will continue to provide the administrative support services you need to ensure your success. Thank you for this opportunity.
A resounding applause for Alhaji Sani Magaji Tambuwal, the clerk to the National Assembly. Thank you, sir. May I also respectfully invite the Chairman, National Service Commission, Engineer Ahmed Kadi Amshi, for his goodwill message. A round of applause for him as well.
Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic, ably represented by my dear brother, Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, the former Speaker of the House of Representatives. For the benefits of the audience here, the Right Honorable Gbajabiamila has been instrumental to my being the Chairman of the National Assembly Service Commission.
Throughout his tenure as the Speaker, he has supported me, he has mentored me, and he has given us every encouragement to succeed as the National Assembly Service Commission. Your Excellency, I remain ever grateful. Thank you very much. The chief host of this occasion, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, another dear brother, we thank you for this occasion. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, for the want of time, maybe I recognize the representative of the Minister of FCT. Madam, you are highly welcome. I remain on the existing protocol. Your Excellency, the economy of the world, not only of Nigeria, is really in dire straits. And any attempt to bring it out of this quagmire, I think it's a welcome development. To me, this retreat is not only timely, but it's apt. Anything that will bring improvement to the economy of the nation, I think it's a welcome idea. At this point, I congratulate the Honorable Speaker and his team for putting this program together. We are looking forward to recommendations that will really move the nation forward, not only in terms of economy, but in terms of entire development. So we thank you for this program. We congratulate you once again and wish you best of luck. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, the Chairman, National Assembly Service Commission. Let me quickly remind all of us of the health importance of clapping. In case you're not aware, the University of Philadelphia in the United States, November 2014, says from a research that was undertaken by them that people who clap vigorously when it's important to clap live longer, healthier, youthful, wrinkles-free, ageless, and they visit doctors less, and in turn, clapping helps to rejuvenate the internal organs in the human body. Please let's imbibe the culture of clapping. It is healthy to clap. Very quick recognition, Your Excellency. I'd like to recognize Mr. Taiwo Oyedele, the Chairman, Presidential Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms Committee. Would like to appreciate your presence. Forgive me, I omitted you in the list for the protocol. I'd also like to recognize the presence of the immediate past Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, His Excellency the Right Honorable Ahmed Idris Uwase, CON. We'd like to welcome you. Thank you for coming. Please a round of applause for them. It is at this point that we then yield the floor to the man whose duty it is to ensure that we generate enough revenue through tax collection. Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, he is a seasoned tax administrator himself, and he's here represented. I'm talking about Mr. Zach Adedeji, FCA, PhD, the Chairman, Federal Inland Revenue Service, who is represented here by ML Abakar, Coordinating Director, Support Services Group of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, to please come forward with the Chairman's goodwill. Can we please have that round of applause for him, please, as he makes his way here.
Your Excellency, Mr. President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, ably represented by the Chief of Staff to the President, Your Excellency, Honorable Speaker, House of Representatives, National Assembly, honorable members of the House of Representatives here present, distinguished guests, please permit me to stand on the established protocol. The Executive Chairman of Federal Inland Revenue Service, Zach Adedeji, PhD, who is unavoidably absent, sent his apologies and has directed me to read his goodwill message as follows. It is with great pleasure that I extend my warmest greetings and congratulate the Honorable Speaker, Right Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, PhD, the leadership and honorable members of House of Representatives for organizing this esteemed gathering with the theme navigating change, legislative strategy for economic transformation. I commend the leadership of the National Assembly, the organizers for their foresight in convening this workshop and their commitment to advancing our nation's economic transformation. Your efforts are truly appreciated and recognized. An efficient tax system in any jurisdiction is anchored on a tripod of tax policy, legislation, and administration. Therefore, achieving comprehensive tax reform requires collective action and collaboration by all stakeholders in these three areas. Accordingly, the legislature plays a critical role in tax ecosystem by enacting enabling legislation, ensuring effective and efficient administration through oversight functions, and advocating for taxpayer rights and interests. The synergy between the legislature and other stakeholders is crucial for translating policy aspiration into tangible outcomes that benefit all Nigerians. The retreat provides a timely opportunity for stakeholders across the spectrum to come together, opportunity for stakeholders from across the spectrum to come together, exchange insights, and cut a course towards effectively implementing some landmark reforms. Consequently, this retreat represents a pivotal moment in our collective effort to cut a course in the two critical revenue drivers, tax, oil and gas revenue, for sustainable development for our country, as we convene to deliberate on crucial role of petroleum industry and tax reform in driving economic transformation and growth. Let us continue our collective effort and shared commitment to a prosperous Nigeria built on efficient fiscal framework. Taxation is not only a fiscal tool, but a catalyst for unlocking new opportunities and promoting inclusive development. By harnessing the powers of effective tax reforms and modernization initiatives, we have the potential to transform our economy, empower our citizens, and build a resilient future for the next generation. In recent years, Nigeria has embarked on a trajectory of fiscal and policy reform aimed at enhancing domestic revenue mobilization, improving tax compliance, and creating an enabling environment for business and investment. Under my leadership, FRA remains steadfast and is dedicated to advancing and repositioning tax administration by driving efficiency, transparency, and fairness, and supporting the President in building a strong and resilient economy. Since I assumed office in September 2023, the FRS has taken strategic initiative towards enhancing revenue and achieving the 2024 revenue target of 19.4 trillion naira. We aim to continuously grow our tax to GDP from 10.8% to 18% in the next 3 years. To achieve our strategic objective, the service has re-engineered our organizational structure by segmenting taxpayers according to threshold, large, medium, and small, for more efficient and customer-centric service. In addition, the mission, vision, and core values have been redefined to align with our core mandate and make us globally competitive. Our new customer-focused posture is anchored on the three pillars of people, technology, and process, realizing that taxation has evolved from the bricks and mortar economy to the digital space, the Federal Inland Revenue Service is continuously investing and leveraging innovative technological tools to enhance compliance and revenue optimization. On the tax policy, the National Tax Policy also envisions a transition from direct to indirect tax. The policy has also emphasized the need for harmonization of tax laws and administration to optimize revenue collection and minimize leakages. This should also be focus of future reforms and legislative agenda for codifying the tax laws. Finally, I urge the participants to actively deliberate, share their insights, and contribute their expertise toward shaping tax code, policy, and strategies that will propel our nation towards greater economic transformation and prosperity. Once more, I commend the House of Representatives for its proactive stand on tax matters and commitment to ensuring the effective implementation of tax reforms. Your encouragement and support are indispensable as we strive to build a robust and resilient tax system that fosters sustainable economic development. Mr. Speaker and distinguished guests, I reaffirm the commitment of FRS to partner with the National Assembly and all stakeholders to achieve our shared objective of harnessing the potential of taxation as a catalyst for inclusive growth and development for Nigeria. I wish you all fruitful deliberation and successful retreat. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you very much. Can we please make that applause for him a lot louder? Thank you, and thank you very much indeed. Please, honorable members, and our distinguished honorable members, I'd like to remind us that we are live on national television stations. We are being covered live on national television stations, and I think we should be able to limit our conversations in such a manner that it does not interfere with what we're doing here. I think the leader of the House has gotten up to go and speak to his colleagues. I'm sure that please will help us. Honorable Professor Julius Ihonwere, please help us speak to the rest of your colleagues to see to the need to speak in semitones, please. Thank you very much indeed. The President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is seated. The Speaker of the House of Representatives is seated. Former presiding officers of the House are also seated, as well as deputy speakers. I did mention earlier on the presence of the Right Honorable Ahmed Idris Wase, the immediate past deputy speaker. We welcome you one more time. Moving on very quickly at this point, Your Excellency, our special guest of honor at this retreat, the #1 citizen of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, ably represented by the Chief of Staff to the President and former Speaker, the Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, would like to then yield the floor to the Honorable Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, the one we call the FCT landlord, represented here by a medical doctor par excellence, a surgeon, and a very specialist in family health and family medicine. Please do join me in welcoming the Honorable Minister of State who will be speaking on his behalf, the Honorable Minister of State FCT, Dr. Maria Mahamood.
His Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, ably represented by the Chief of Staff to President, His Excellency Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, CFR, the Speaker and convener of this important retreat, His Excellency Right Honorable Tajuddin Abbas Ian Zazzau, the Deputy Speaker present here, former speakers here, leadership and members of the House of National Assembly present here, the Secretary to Government of the Federation, His Excellency George Akumi, the Chairman, National Assembly Service Commission, and all other members, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to you all. I stand before you to represent my minister, His Excellency Barrister Nyesom Wike, CON, and I read his speech as follows. On behalf of the FCT administration and the residents of FCT, it's indeed an honor to deliver this goodwill message at this two-day reporter retreat focused on effectively implementing the Petroleum Industry Reform Act 2021 and tax reform and modernization under the theme Navigating Change Legislative Strategies for Economic Transformation. Permit me to begin by commending the Speaker and leadership of the House of Representatives for organizing such important retreats. This demonstrates your unwavering dedication to serving the people of our great nation. Your role as a legislator is pivotal in shaping policies that drive economic growth, foster innovation, and ensure equitable development for all Nigerians. The Petroleum Industry Reform Act 2021 represents a watershed moment in our nation's history. With its passage, we have laid the groundwork for a more transparent, efficient, and competitive petroleum industry. This legislation opens the door to greater investments, innovations, and job creation. However, its true impact will be realized through effective implementation. As representative of the people, it is incumbent upon us to ensure that the provision of these acts are translated into tangible benefits for all Nigerians. We must work tirelessly to foster an enabling environment for investment, promote local content participation, and uphold the highest standards of governance and accountability in the petroleum industry. Furthermore, the imperative of tax reform and modernization cannot be overstated. Our tax system must evolve to reflect the dynamic nature of our economy and the realities of the 21st century. By simplifying tax procedures, closing loopholes, and incentivizing compliance, we can enhance revenue generation, promote investment, and spur economic growth in the nation. As we embark on this journey of economic transformation, legislative strategies will play a pivotal role in navigating the changes and seizing the opportunities that lie ahead. Collaboration, consensus building, and visionary leadership will be essential in driving forward our agenda for sustainable development. I urge, therefore, during this retreat to approach the task before us with a spirit of unity, determination, and innovation. Let us harness the power of constructive dialogue, evidence-based policy making, and public-private partnership to chart a course towards a brighter future for all Nigerians. Thank you for your valued attention, and may God bless our collective aspiration. Thank you very much.
Please, another round of applause for the Honorable Minister of State. Mama Area Councils, we appreciate you, man. Thank you very much. The next remarks, Your Excellency, is going to be coming from a man who has taken after your legacies, trying to ensure that he keeps the flag flying. And the flag that was flown during your tenure as Speaker of the House of Representatives was pretty very high. The entire country and Africa at large is aware of your very, very great legacies. The man who succeeded you, I'm talking about the Speaker, House of Representatives, the People's House, the Prince of Zauzau, is doing everything to be able to live up to the expectation of his colleagues and, of course, indeed, Nigerians. It is not different from what you did, but of course he has also marched on with some vigor by establishing the legislative agenda for the 10th Assembly, just as you did, whilst you held sway as Speaker during the 9th Assembly. He has also successfully held a national roundtable on police affairs, and today the reforms are beginning to yield very positive results. This is fourth in the series, and this man has also proven that he doesn't forget his constituencies and his constituents, just as you did, especially carrying along members of the House of Representatives. Speaker Abbas Tajuddin, PhD, Ian Zozo, will go out of his way to ensure that any member and every member that comes to him does not leave unsatisfied. He sacrifices his sleep to ensure that the House of Representatives is functioning, and functioning optimally so. Your Excellency, our special guest of honor, who today I'm addressing as the President, but also as a former Speaker of the House of Representatives, standing in for the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. He has empowered very many of his colleagues, just as you did. And today, we're seated here because of his love to be able to turn things around, to be able to diversify the Nigerian economy. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, His Excellency Right Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, PhD, has brought all of these members and very carefully selected resource persons together to chart a new course for the PIA. It is as a result of that, Your Excellency, that I crave an indulgence to please permit me at this juncture to invite the convener of this very, very two-day retreat, a man very detribalized, pan-Nigerian, a very great Democrat, and one who has taken over from you as the defendant of the People's House, defendant of democracy. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, if your hands are not very busy, I'd like that you please join me in welcoming to the podium His Excellency, the Right Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, PhD, Ian Zazo, Speaker, House of Representatives, for his special remarks at this juncture as the convener. If I wear your shoes, because clapping is healthy, I'll keep the clap coming until he mounts the podium. Your Excellency, the Speaker, sir.
The President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, our mentor, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, ably represented by the former Speaker and the current Chief of Staff to the President, Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila. The President of the Senate, distinguished Senator Godswill Akpabio, CON, and the leadership of the Senate, whom I believe are on their way to this particular forum. The Deputy Speaker, my brother, Right Honorable Benjamin Kalu, the principal officers of the National Assembly, distinguished senators and members of the National Assembly, former presiding officers of the National Assembly, Excellencies, Executive Governors present, members of the Diplomatic Corps, our host, the Honorable Minister of Federal Capital Territory, ably represented by the Minister of State, Honorable Ministers and heads of government agencies present, the Clerk, Secretaries and Management of the National Assembly, the Chairman and Honorable Commissioners to the National Assembly Service Commission, the development partners or other stakeholders, especially Federal Inland Revenue Service and CONRAD, former distinguished senators and members of the National Assembly, the Chief of Staff to the Speaker and that of the Deputy Speaker, the facilitators and panelists of today's event, distinguished invited guests, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. I have the distinct honor and privilege to warmly welcome His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, and all our esteemed guests to this important legislative retreat on economic transformation and development organized by the House of Representatives in collaboration with the Federal Inland Revenue Service and the Konrad Adenauer Stiftung Foundation. The House made a deliberate decision to focus on tax reforms and modernization, as well as review of the implementation of the Petroleum Industry Reform Act 2021. The overriding objective is to discuss and identify concrete legislative strategies for economic transformation. I'm pleased to know that this legislative retreat is taking place at a point in our nation's economic landscape when the current administration is diligently implementing policies and initiatives to steer our economy towards recovery, growth, and sustainable development. The commitment and foresight shown by the government in addressing economic challenges deserve commendation, and it is imperative that we as legislators align our efforts to support and enhance these endeavors. As a critical arm of government, the legislature has a crucial role in shaping our nation's economic transformation and development. Part of our lawmaking powers is the authority to enact tax reforms and strengthen resource governance mechanisms. By designing and implementing progressive tax policies, we strive to ensure a fair and efficient tax system that boosts revenue while fostering economic growth and equity. This involves not only broadening the tax base and simplifying tax codes, but also enhancing compliance and minimizing loopholes that benefit only the wealthy. Furthermore, the legislature's oversight function is central in the governance of natural and financial resources. It ensures transparency and accountability in the exploitation and management of resources, which is essential for sustainable development. By holding government and private sectors accountable, the legislature helps to prevent the mismanagement and corruption that can often undermine economic progress. Flowing from the above, this retreat aims to foster stakeholder engagement, ensure constructive dialogue, exchange ideas, and offer insights on legislative strategies that will contribute to the economic transformation of our dear country. Accordingly, this forum allows us to take a deep dive into the tax reforms instituted by President Tinubu and undertake a review of the implementation of the Petroleum Industry Act 2021. We consider these two initiatives vital in our nation's quest for economic recovery, transformation, and growth. The two areas speak to both the oil and non-oil sectors of the Nigerian economy. Excellencies, dear colleagues and guests, allow me to provide the general context within which this retreat is conceptualized. Nigeria, Africa's most populous nation, has long been grappling with issues related to tax collection and revenue generation. As noted by the International Monetary Fund, IMF, in 2021, Nigeria's general government revenue was recorded at 7.3% of GDP, which is significantly lower than the average revenue of countries in the economic community of West African states, and roughly a third of that in sub-Saharan Africa. This places Nigeria as number 191 out of 193 countries globally. Our fiscal revenue has declined predominantly due to decreasing oil revenue over the last 10 years, while non-oil revenue has remained stagnant at about 4 to 5% of GDP. Nigeria's tax revenue struggles are primarily due to narrow bases for indirect taxes, low compliance rates among taxpayers, substantial tax exemptions, and generally low tax rates. This situation is compounded by a lack of enthusiasm and morale for tax compliance, contributing to the nation's underwhelming fiscal performance. Comparatively, Nigeria's efficiency in collecting value-added tax is the lowest among its African peers, indicating significant inefficiencies in its tax system. This trend of low tax revenue, coupled with a continued dependency on the increasingly unstable oil revenue, present a major risk to Nigeria's fiscal sustainability. It also highlights an important area for potential reform to boost revenue and stabilize the country's economic framework. The lack of growth in non-oil revenue sources and the volatile nature of oil income underscored the urgent need for Nigeria to diversify its revenue base and enhance its fiscal management to ensure economic stability and growth. Upon our assuming office in 2023, President Tinubu made it clear that his administration will prioritize tax reforms to broaden the tax base and increase revenue collection. The first step in this direction was the establishment of the Presidential Tax Reform Implementation Committee, PTRC, in March 2023. This committee was tasked with reviewing existing tax laws and proposing recommendations for reforms. One of the most notable achievements of this committee was the introduction of the tax credit scheme. This scheme aims to incentivize tax compliance by offering tax credits to individuals and businesses that voluntarily register for taxes or file returns on time. For instance, individuals who register for taxes before 31st December of every given year will be eligible for a 15% tax credit on their total income tax liability for that particular year. Similarly, businesses that file their returns within 3 months from their financial year end will receive a 10% tax credit on their corporate income tax liability. These incentives have proven effective in encouraging more people and businesses to come forward and contribute to the formal tax system. Another significant reform was simplifying the process of registering for taxes. The Federal Inland Revenue Service introduced an online registration platform called Tax ID. This platform allows individuals and businesses to register for taxes anywhere in Nigeria using their national identity number or BVN, bank verification number. The ease of registration had led to an increment in new registrations across various sectors. Furthermore, President Tinubu's administration has shown commitment towards addressing issues related to informal sectoral participation in the formal tax system through various measures, such as collaborating with state governments and traditional rulers to engage formal sector operators and encourage them to register for taxes. It is gratifying to note that these efforts have started bearing fruit, as more people from various sectors are now contributing towards building a stronger fiscal foundation for Nigeria. Recent reports from FIRS show a substantial increase in both individual and corporate income tax collections since these reforms were implemented. Furthermore, these collections have helped significantly reduce Nigeria's dependence on oil revenues. This is key to achieving economic diversification, transformation, and recovery. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, It is against this backdrop that this retreat assumes a greater significance. Several empirical studies have shown that Nigeria has the potential to further increase revenue if priority tax reforms are implemented. The House stands ready to support the executive to achieve this overall goal of reversing the negative trend. This is in keeping with our legislative agenda, which prioritizes economic growth and development, focusing on economic restructuring, diversification, and agricultural development, and enacting tax reforms that will simplify our tax codes, expand the tax base, and strengthen mechanisms for compliance. Of particular interest to the House is increasing government revenues without unduly burdening the citizens, especially the vulnerable. Another important thematic area at this retreat is the potential of digitalization and technology to transform tax administration by enhancing the efficiency, transparency, and fairness of tax systems. These advancements enable tax authorities to collect, process, and utilize information more effectively, leading to improved operational capacities. For taxpayers, integrating digital tools can simplify compliance, making it a more seamless part of everyday personal and business activities, thereby reducing friction and increasing ease of engagement with tax systems. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in 2021, the Federal Inland Revenue Service introduced a tax administration solution called Tax Pro Max for ease of tax compliance. Several similar efforts have been attempted in the past. For instance, in 2014, FIRS attempted automating tax collection with the Integrated Tax Administration System, ITAS, which was to be implemented on a tailored solution known as the Standard Integrated Government Tax Administration System, SIGI-TAS. These attempts have not been successful, showing that the path to fully digitalizing tax administration is fraught with challenges, particularly in different economic contexts. Developing countries like Nigeria often struggle with the absence of fundamental technological infrastructure, which hampers the implementation of digital tax systems. Achieving the full benefits of digitalization requires not only the adoption of new technologies, but also adapting work patterns and overcoming managerial challenges. Your Excellencies, honorable colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, the second leg of this retreat centers on the Petroleum Industry Act. The PIA represents a legislative milestone passed by the 9th Assembly. This act is not just a piece of legislation, but a transformative blueprint designed to overhaul the petroleum industry, which is the backbone of our economy today. It's an opportunity to align our actions with our aspirations, ensuring that this vital sector operates efficiently, transparently, and most importantly, beneficially for every Nigerian. As noted by the Brookings Institution, if executed effectively and thoroughly, the PIA could set a benchmark for exemplary natural resource management. This would involve distinct and defined roles within the industry subsectors, the establishment of a national petroleum company that is both commercially oriented and profit-driven, and the incorporation of transparency, good governance, and accountability in managing Nigeria's petroleum resources. Additionally, it will support the economic and social progress of host communities, ensure environmental remediation, and create a favorable business environment for oil and gas operations within the country. However, the realization of these outcomes depends on the ability of the political and oil industry leaders to address several significant challenges, including interpretative challenges due to ambiguous language, which could lead to disputes and uncertainty in its implementation. Also, the complexity of the law necessitates enhanced capacity building within new regulatory institutions to ensure effective interpretation and application, as well as efficient fund management. Moreover, regional tensions exacerbated by the challenges facing the PIA. The National Assembly of Nigeria is vital in ensuring continuous review of the Petroleum Industry Act to ensure its effectiveness in a rapidly evolving industry landscape. This involves meticulously monitoring the implementation of the Act, analyzing its impact, and identifying areas where modifications may be necessary. For these reasons, we are actively engaging various stakeholders at this retreat, including government bodies, industry experts, and community representatives. Today's sessions are designed to gather diverse perspectives and insights, which will be essential for making informed amendments that address emerging challenges and ensure that the Act meets its intended objectives. This iterative process will not only help in fine-tuning the Act, but also ensure that it remains aligned with the broader economic and environmental goals of Nigeria. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, the legislature's role in steering economic growth and development cannot be overstated. It is incumbent upon us, the elected representatives of our people, to ensure that our legislative framework supports robust economic growth and sustainable development. The People's House is ready to collaborate closely with the executive to enact targeted legislative interventions to address our current challenges and capitalize on new opportunities. Our commitment is to create a conducive environment for economic initiatives that can flourish and drive progress for everyone. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for accepting to be here today. The House is very grateful for the Federal Inland Revenue Service and the Kora Adeniyi Stiefel Foundation, the Federal Capital Territory, for their support and partnership in hosting this retreat. I wish us a fruitful and engaging retreat. Thank you for your attention. May God continue to bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, the Speaker, House of Representatives, Right Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, PhD, the only prince with the traditional title of Eyan Zau Zau. A round of applause for him, please. A resounding applause for Mr. Speaker.
Eyan Zau Zau.
Eyan Zau Zau.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please take your seats. Again, for the records, Mariah, I step in here just to recognize our former presiding officers. Very quickly, we'd like to appreciate the presence of Her Excellency, Right Honorable Patricia Olubomi-Ete, CFR, former Speaker, House of Representatives. We also recognize your presence, Your Excellency, the Right Honorable Aminu Bello Masari, CFR, former Speaker, House of Representatives, former Governor of Katsina State, as well as Your Excellency, the Right Honorable Yakubu Dogara, CFR. Can we please give them another resounding applause for being with us all through this retreat?
Thank you for coming, Your Excellencies. Right about now, we'll take a little entertainment, and that's the cultural dance from the Nasarawa State Cultural Troupe. It's my pleasure to welcome the Nasarawa State Cultural Troupe. A round of applause for them, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please, a round of applause for them. One more time. Nasarawa State Cultural Troop, we appreciate you. Thank you, and thank you very much indeed. I'd like to just quickly plead with the management of this conference hall, the Ladikwali Hall, to please increase the intensity of the air conditioning systems, please.
A resounding applause again for the Nasarawa State Cultural Troop. I'd like to call on a father, one I call Daddy, an elder statesman, Honorable Professor Julius Inhovere, OON, the majority leader of the House of Representatives. Prof was the former special advisor on project monitoring and implementation to Nigeria ex-president Olusegun Obasanjo. He's also the lawmaker representing our federal constituency of Edo State. That happens to be my state, so you can understand.
We can do better with that round of applause for the leader of the House.
Good day, everyone. We are supposed to be at lunch at this time, so time is not our friend. But allow me to give you a thanks by especially thanking the President. I think it was knowing him for who he is, I'm sure he would have wanted to be here in person. But I also know there are persons around him who would have convinced him to relax, that he has capable hands that could do this for him. So I'm not surprised that it's represented by the one and only Baja of the world, of the universe, the former speaker, now the chief of staff. Baja! You know, some of the new people may not understand that slogan, but you have to learn it. When we say Baja, you know, you echo Baja. That is the man sitting right here. He laid the foundation for what the National Assembly or the House of Reps has become, building on the foundations of his predecessors, and we're happy that the current speaker is also building on his own legacies. So we want to thank Mr. President sitting here with us for being here, and we're eager to hear from him. I also would especially, of course, thank our Oga, the Speaker, quiet but extremely capable and able, and with the energy you don't see on his face to get the job done, for putting this together. With the support of the Deputy Speaker, my academic and intellectual friend, and we know how we roll to get this done. And by the principal officers that are here, my colleagues from the House of Reps and the senators that are here, the principal officers, I thank all of them, the presiding officers, former presiding officers and leaders and deputies that are here. We want to thank you for always identifying. I know I've always seen you all at almost every program that we've done. The clerk of the National Assembly, we thank you. The chairman of the commission, we also thank you. Development partners, we cannot thank you enough for recognizing that it's only through working together that we can get this job done. I see the clerk of the house here as well. So without taking much time, we are grateful that you've been patient, you've been here, and we urge you to stay with us as we listen to the president's speech, break for lunch, and come back. We don't want it to be like the regular events where once we break for lunch, people disappear. We have critical and serious national issues to discuss, and it will be good to be here to hear your ideas. So once again, Mr. President, Mr. Speaker, the Deputy Speaker, the Principal Officers, our former presiding officers and deputies, the clerks, the chairman, I thank you all for being here, and I hope we'll see you immediately after lunch. Thank you very much.
If you intend to make that an applause for the leader of the House, can we make it an applause, please? Thank you, and thank you very much indeed. The die is cast, and it is at this point that would like to, by all means, listen to the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, one whose achievement in 10 months and counting has superseded very many of his colleagues. The man that we refer to as the man who makes men. The man who, on his very first day in office as the President of Nigeria, removed the conduit pipe for corruption, which is known as the petroleum subsidy, fighting corruption and not minding whose ox is gored, bringing technocrats to his government as ministers and heads of agencies of government. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, President Tinubu indeed has the enablement and coordinating capacity to make the right decision at the right time. And as you can tell, a leader can tip the balance between success and failure. And he has overtaken others, making something out of nothing, and improved a lot of his people while earning the respect of other presidents of the world, and has given Nigeria its pride of place amongst the Committee of Nations. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we wouldn't be talking about his achievement without mentioning that he has got his able lieutenants who are supporting him, and especially in the person of our former Speaker of the House of Representatives, today sitting very tall as a Chief of Staff to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who himself is a great achiever. When the world was at a standstill, the Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila brought the entire speakers of the African continent, and they converged on Abuja to discuss very salient issues concerning Africa. I won't be bothering you with too many of his achievements, but please look that up. They are all available in your archives and on YouTube, on Google, and in so many social media platforms. Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, permit me at this juncture to then invite the #1 citizen of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, ably represented here this afternoon by no less a person than the immediate past Speaker of the House of Representatives, the Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, CFR, Chief of Staff to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. If you don't mind, can we give him that accolade one more time? Baja! Baja! Thank you. Please give it up for the President of Nigeria. Your Excellency, the President, sir.
Thank you very much. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, my friend, my brother, my confidant, Right Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, the Deputy Speaker, my friend and brother as well, Right Honorable Benjamin Kalu, Deputy Speaker with the swag, the principal officers of the National Assembly that are present this afternoon, distinguished senators and members of the National Assembly, former presiding officers, my leaders and forebearers who preceded me in office, good to see you all. His Excellencies, members of the Diplomatic Corps, Honorable Minister of Federal Capital Territory, ably represented by the Minister of State, ministers and heads of government agencies present, the clerk, the secretaries and management of the National Assembly, the chairman, honorable commissioners to the National Assembly Commission. Chairman, thank you for your very kind words. Developmental partners and stakeholders, former senators and members of the National Assembly here, the Chief of Staff to the Speaker, distinguished invited guests, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. Let me very quickly say before I go to the President's speech that it gives me great pleasure to be here amongst my friends, my colleagues, my peers at this fortuitous occasion. It's always a delight when I have the occasion to be amongst members of my primary constituency, an occasion which does not always present itself due to the very nature of my work and your work as well. But today is a day that I cherish, and I am happy to be amongst you to share knowledge, particularly in the area of the petroleum industry. Again, let me say the President had every intention of being here today, but due to the exigencies of his office and the clashes that presented themselves, he finds himself out of the country at this very moment on national assignment. And he has asked me to represent him and deliver his very short but poignant address. Let me say I'm going to attempt to deliver this address in the third person because I cannot even pretend to be the President. I do not have his reach, I do not have his stature, I do not have his depth, so I can only deliver his speech, not pretending to be him, but as somebody who was sent to deliver on his behalf. So, Mr. Speaker, principal officers and honorable members of the House of Representatives, the President has asked me to tell you that it gives him great joy to attend this two-day retreat. He says that he is delighted that he has selected this particular theme as the theme of this retreat. Mr. President says that the choice underscores our shared understanding of the critical role the legislature must play if we are to achieve the ambitious goals of national transformation and renewed hope that we have set for ourselves. He wants me to thank the leaders of the two chambers of the 10th National Assembly for the spirit of partnership, which has been the hallmark of our relationship since we assumed office. He says the existing goodwill, harmony, and collaboration between our government's executive and legislative arms are beneficial and crucial to achieving our shared national developmental goals. Mr. President further says that working together will help to deliver the gains of democratic good governance to our people and ensure the quick progress of our country desperately needs. He says, further, despite the skeptics, the productive collaboration between the executive, the House, and the Senate has yielded significant results. We have successfully passed numerous bills, all aimed at enhancing the welfare of our fellow Nigerians. He is particularly appreciative that the welfare of our fellow Nigerians, and that being considered by the National Assemblies, that the National Assembly has taken the welfare of Nigerians into swift action in considering and passing the Students' Loan Bill of 2024. It says your actions have substantially fortified the legal framework of the Students' Tertiary Education Loan Program, ensuring its efficient implementation. These achievements are a testament to the power of partnership and positive impact it can have on our nation. In a World Bank document titled Legislative Oversight and Budgeting, a World Perspective, The president gleaned a phrase from that document, which was written by Thomas Frederick Remington, who wrote, and I quote, "For legislators to effectively fulfill their roles of representation, oversight, and lawmaking, a certain level of cooperation between the legislature and the executive in policy making is essential. The legislature must have the capacity to monitor the executive, and the executive, in turn, should be willing to comply with the legislative enactments. It is not just a coincidence, but a strategic advantage for the country that the governing relationship between the executive and the legislature perfectly reflects this ideal. As you know, Mr. President's administration is implementing significant policy changes to reform how we govern and position our country for progress and shared prosperity for all citizens. These reforms, he says, while necessary and in some cases long overdue, are not without their challenges. He says he is deeply grateful for your unwavering support and understanding during these times, and that your understanding and support have been invaluable, and that he is confident that with your continued collaboration, we can overcome any challenges that lie ahead. The oil and gas industry has long been the lifeblood of our national economy. This administration is working tirelessly to change this and diversify our economy from over-reliance on the production of fossil fuels. However, we are also determined to maximize revenue potential from this critical industry. For this reason, Mr. President says that we are pushing policies to attract investment in the oil and gas sector. He wants me to remind you that recently, he signed an executive order to unlock about $10 billion in fresh investments in the sector. This will happen through fiscal incentives for non-associated gas, midstream and deepwater oil and gas developments. And this he did. Again, he says that just last week, the federal government of Nigeria signed the consolidated guidelines for implementing fiscal incentives for the oil and gas sector. The guidelines, which represent a cornerstone of the presidential directive, aim to enhance the Nigerian oil and gas sector's global competitiveness while stimulating the economic growth. The executive order also streamlines contracting processes, procedures, and timelines from 36 months to 6 months. The order also seeks to ensure that local content requirements are implemented without impeding investments or the cost competitiveness of oil and gas projects. Related to these are the reforms we are implementing to our tax regimes to limit the taxes collected without negatively affecting government revenues. All of these have the same objective: to reduce government interference with the commercial imperatives of business in the country so that business based here can be competitive and focus on their core objectives of economic growth through innovation and trade. We will need, Mr. President says, the support of the National Assembly to fully implement some of these reforms, as statutory changes will be required in some areas. Says he is confident that when the time comes, the governing partnership we have established between the executive and the legislature will ensure that these changes are effected swiftly to benefit our nation. Mr. Speaker, honorable members of the House of Representatives, Mr. President has asked me to convey to you that we can only justify our collective mandate and trust our people, and the trust our people repose in us through constructive collaboration between the National Assembly and the executive. This point he needed me to underpin and emphasize. There has to be collaboration between both the National Assembly and the executive for us to justify the collective mandate and trust that our people have reposed in us. Now, it says this joint effort is the minimum the people who voted for us expect from us. However, the very essence, and this is important, the very essence of checks and balances means that there will be times when the executive and the legislative prerogatives inevitably collide. I was Speaker here for 4 years, and there were many times when interests would conflict. But Mr. President has a solution, which we'll try to follow in the 9th Assembly, and I believe that we will do this even better in the 10th Assembly. He said, when that happens, the national interest must guide our decisions in those moments. So there's no denying that those moments will come, but that when they do come, and hopefully few and far between, when they do come, that the national interest must guide our decisions in those moments. We share a common responsibility in shaping the future of our nation, and it is through our collaboration that we can effectively fulfill this duty. Mr. President congratulates the leadership of the House of Representatives on the vision of this retreat and applaud all the people who have worked hard to make it a reality. He thanks you for the invitation to join you here today, and he has asked me on his behalf to declare this retreat open to the glory of God and for the benefit of the Nigerian people. I wish you successful deliberations. May God bless you all, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
That's applause for the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, speaking through his Chief of Staff. Can come even louder than that. Can we please give him one more round of applause, please? It might also interest you to note that the immediate past Speaker and Chief of Staff to the President initiated the National Assembly Library, and up for commissioning pretty very soon by the grace of God, and has done so many things for the National Assembly of Nigeria. Please applaud him one more time. Thank you very much. Thank you. Just before we go for the lunch and tea break, they are happening together. The option is yours. If you don't want to have lunch and you want to have just the tea, it is also optional. But just before then, we'd like to take some very quick announcements. The very first announcement is that there will be, please, your attention is needed here, please. There will be a group photograph before we finally break out for the tea break. For the rest of the announcements, I'd like to invite the Chief of Staff to the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Professor Jake Azubi, to please do the rest of the announcements.
Thank you very much, Andy. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I've been directed by the Right Honorable Speaker to make some quick announcements on the structure of the technical sessions which comes after lunch. Going by your program, there are two technical sessions, one on the effective implementation of the Petroleum Industry Act, which should have ordinarily taken place between 12 and 1 p.m., and the second technical session, which is on tax reform in Nigeria, the role of the legislature, which was initially scheduled for 3 to 4 p.m. The Right Honorable Speaker has directed that in view of the late commencement, the two sessions will be taken simultaneously, which means that the two panels, I'm aware that almost all the panelists are here present. Those that, the first panel, or the only panel after lunch, will now be chaired by the Right Honorable Yakubu Dogara, CFR, who has graciously today and tomorrow. The key actors, those of you who are attending from the various sectors to participate in this, that means those who are from the Ministry of Petroleum, those who are from NEITI, those who are from Pengasan, those who are from Lupeng, and those who are from NECA, as well as the Chartered Institute of Taxation and NASIMA, you will sit alongside the second panel session. In other words, we will have our lead discussant, Mr. Taiwo Oyedele, and that panel consists of participants and representatives of the Federal Inland Revenue. The Minister of Budget and National Planning will be present. The Governor of the Central Bank will take part of that, as well as the Chairman of the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, the ICPC. Senator Ahmed Makarfi, former Governor of Kaduna State, is also present and will be part of that technical session. So we will break for lunch for just 1 hour. We will reconvene in this hall, and we will take the two panel discussions simultaneously, and it will be chaired by the Right Honorable Yakubu Dogara. So please, let's ensure that we are all here. The Speaker expects all members to be present and to participate fully, especially in engaging these actors who we have invited and who have agreed to be part of this important retreat. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'm looking at the stage. If this is not too difficult, would like to invite our special guest of honor, and we'll have the group photograph. And after that, we'll break out for lunch. Lunch is for 45 minutes, and we are expected to reconvene shortly after. So please, bon appetit, but Your Excellencies, may I please invite the Speaker to lead our special guest of honor and the Deputy Speaker, and of course all former presiding officers and the members of the House of Representatives. First, we will invite those of you that are principal officers. Yes, before we go for lunch, I'll make that announcement for lunch. But for now, please, principal officers of the House of Representatives. And then, of course, we'll take these pictures in batches. Your Excellency, the rep of the President. All the clerk to the National Assembly, the Executive Chairman, National Assembly Service Commission. Please. After this, please, we'll take the group photograph in batches. And Lucas of Conrad and the rep of the Chairman, Federal Inland Revenue Service. I just announced that we take principal officers first. Principal officers and our guests first. So please, can we, the rest of us, if you're not a principal officer, can you just step down briefly, and then we can just take, so that we can make it a little bit more organized. Principal officers and our special guests, Honorable Minister of City, former presiding officers, and the principal officers, only for now. All right, please join in. The Chairman, FIRS representative, and the Presidential Special Presidential Task Team on Tax Reforms is here already. Okay, please, after this, can we have the next batch? Photographers are done. Principal officers, do us the favor of stepping down. Former presiding officers, you may step down. Okay, I'm told to... Okay, because of the number of people coming, yes? Members, next group will be chairmen of committees, but we'll take them in batches. We are going to request, sir, so that maybe you stand here and other members will stand behind you. We're sorry to bother you with this movement. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That way, sir. No, sir. Down. You will be down, and the other members will be up. If not, we don't... Oh, there's no lightning. Okay, we'll remain here, sir. So please, you may just step forward a little bit. Other members can stop behind you.